S2.E20 The Fulfillment. There are moments in life, rare and tender, when time seems to hold its breath. When something ordinary becomes sacred. When a heart, long closed, dares to open. This was such a moment, not on any calendar, not in any history book, but on Waltons Mountain. In the fall of 1935, a season of quiet change and deeper grace. The Great Depression had stretched itself across the country like a heavy quilt, worn thin, patched often, but still holding warmth where love was strong. The Walton household, though never wealthy, was rich in ways money couldn't measure. In laughter at the supper table, in shared chores, in bedtime stories whispered under oil lamp light. But John and Olivia Walton knew, better than most, that not every child knew such shelter. And so, they opened their door. Stevie wasn't like the others. At 7 years old, he carried more weight than his small frame should have borne. The weight of uncertainty, of goodbyes without hellos, of institutions with echoing halls and thin mattresses. He didn't smile easily. He didn't trust quickly. When he arrived, he kept his eyes down, his shoulders tense. A small boy braced for disappointment. And yet, the mountain had a way of softening even the hardest edges. It was John Boy who first noticed the quiet shift, not in Stevia's words, but in his silences. The way he lingered near the barn, watching Ben mend the fence. The way he sat just a little closer to Mary Ellen each evening, not speaking, just being. A boy learning slowly that safety wasn't a trick, that kindness wasn't a test. Meanwhile, in town, John Boy had been spending time at Curtis Norton's blacksmith shop, helping out since Curtis burned his hand forging a wagon axle. Curtis, steady, strong, his hands calloused from fire and steel, was a man of few words but deep integrity. His wife, Anne, was different. Beautiful, yes, but restless. Restless in a way that shimmered just beneath the surface. New dresses hung in the closet, curtains changed to match magazine pages, vases filled with hothouse flowers no mountain wind had ever touched. Olivia, ever perceptive, paid Anne a visit, just to talk, just to listen. And in that conversation, softly spoken over teacups and sunlight, Anne revealed what no one else knew. She could not bear children, not for lack of trying, not for lack of longing, just biology's quiet cruelty. That same afternoon, back at the Walton home, Stevie, overwhelmed perhaps by the noise, the closeness, the unfamiliar comfort, knocked over a bowl of apples Olivia had just peeled. Juice splattered, slices scattered. And before anyone could say, "It's all right, Stevie, accidents happen," he ran. Not out of mischief, out of fear. The kind that says, "If I break something, they'll send me back." But Curtis found him, standing alone on the dusty road, arms crossed, tears angrily wiped away. Curtis didn't scold, didn't lecture. He simply knelt, eye to eye, and said, "John Boy told me you're visiting from the orphanage." A pause. Then, gently, "That takes courage." Something in those words, in that quiet recognition, reached Stevie. That evening, as fireflies flickered above the creek, Stevie sat on the porch steps beside Curtis. And for the first time, he asked a question. "Do you ever feel like you don't belong anywhere?" Curtis didn't answer right away. He looked out at the hills, purple in the dusk, and said, "Sometimes, but belonging, it's not about where you start, it's about who chooses you, and who you choose back." A few days later, the Nortons came for supper. Stevie was quieter than usual, aware, perhaps, of Anne's gaze lingering on him. When Olivia mentioned Stevie was from the orphanage, Anne's face tightened, not in pity, but in something deeper, recognition. Later, she pulled Olivia aside, voice trembling. "You brought him here on purpose, didn't you? To show us what we're missing?" Olivia shook her head. "No, Anne. We brought him because he needed a home, even if just for a few days. The rest, that's up to your heart." The final morning arrived, crisp, golden, bittersweet. Stevie packed his small satchel. He didn't cry. But he held Mary Ellen's hand a little longer, gave Ben a solemn nod. And when John placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "You'll always have a place here, son," Stevie didn't flinch. He just whispered, "Thank you." The truck was waiting. Olivia was wiping her eyes with her apron. John Boy stood at the gate, watching the road. When dust rose in the distance, it was Curtis and Anne driving fast, purposeful. They stepped out, Anne's eyes red-rimmed but clear, determined. She walked straight to Stevie, kneeled, just as Curtis had done, looked into his guarded, hopeful eyes, and asked, voice soft but unwavering, "Stevie, would you like to be our son?" A beat, the world held still. Even the wind seemed to pause in the pines. Then, a nod. Small, certain, yes, no fanfare, no ceremony, just a woman opening her arms, and a boy finally walking into them. Later, Olivia would say that fulfillment isn't a grand event. It's not a headline or a trophy. It's a bowl of apples knocked over, and not one person blaming the child who spilled them. It's a blacksmith kneeling in the road. It's a woman staring down her grief and choosing love anyway. It's a boy, once afraid to belong, finally whispering yes. And on Waltons Mountain, where love was the truest inheritance, a family grew. Not by blood alone, but by grace.